fluorinated 3D printer filament,
What does that mean?
fluorinated plastic. Oh my
Why
God,
do you
Nigel.
I don't think you want to heat fluorinated polymers.
And you mix it with aluminum powder.
I don't.
And then you-
What does all this? What does all this do for you?
It makes a fun YouTube video. I don't know. Good morning, gamers.
Welcome
To a very special episode of the Safety Third podcast.
In this episode, my auction for a large format 60-inch color printer ends. Actually, that might be during the podcast extra.
Okay.
It is 4:23 p.m. right now.
Okay. Oh, you're gonna be bidding live.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be bidding live.
Okay.
I have no other option. If I want to bid on a large format 60-inch color inkjet printer, I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to live my life around the auction site. Can you guess what auction site it is?
The one that we lost the lasers on?
No.
Gov Deals?
Gov Deals.
Okay,
the one, the only. GovDeals.com. The sponsor
sad
of this
news.
episode. I fucking wish.
The lasers. We didn't get any of the lasers. They all went up to like $3,000 or $4,000.
All right, yeah. Yes. Were we talking about that publicly or was that on the Patreon only?
No, I think that was on the podcast. We were talking about it.
They were going to
The main
bid on these fiber lasers. They were $5 each. And some bastard brought them up over $1,000 each.
Yeah. You know
But
what?
why
That
didn't-
website is sketchy because they don't show you the bids.
Really?
Yeah. They don't show you who bid.
That's not okay.
Uh-uh.
If we could get GovDeals to sponsor this podcast, I wouldn't even want money. I would just want them. I would pick certain things and then they would just lock other people out from bidding on it.
Uh-huh.
And so that way I'm the only one who can bid on it. And I would bid like $5 or something. And then I would win.
Yeah. It would just make you feel good.
Yeah. No, I would just get shit for $5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But GovDeals doesn't actually have to pay me. They're just scamming the seller. That's my pitch to whoever from GovDeals is listening to this. Nigel, how was your week?
Terrible,
Oh.
as usual.
You posted a video.
Stop bringing us down,
Wait,
man.
We're dating ourselves. We can't talk about this. I have a question.
Oh yeah, I did post a video. That's crazy.
I didn't even know that one was in the pipeline. It's just like, boom.
Yeah, you never told us about it.
Yeah. Why not? I thought we were friends.
Okay, so
I'm sure you've thought a lot of things in your
tell
life.
us about the video. What is it about?
Oh, I turned some tasty children's glue into even tastier alcohol. Typical type of thing.
I have a suggestion. I saw the title thumbnail, and I feel like you should not say alcohol, but you should just say a drink. No, am I crazy?
No, that's interesting. But what about the thumbnail? What
Yeah,
would
I
you-
just think it's like I turned Elmer's glue into a delicious beverage, and like it's
maybe
like
just like a cup.
Yeah, or like a glass bottle with like the fake logo on it. I think saying that you turn it into alcohol is like too literal. Your titles and thumbnails always to me come across as impossible, and this one feels a little too like straightforward.
Yeah, we are trying to rework it because it was a thing where usually on the title thumbnails, it's my brother and I work together on them. But for this one, I kind of just was like, I'm busy. So I just let him, and he would ask me questions. I'm like, I can't talk about it.
Change
So
the
we kind of
title.
posted
Do
it.
it right now. Do an AD.
Yeah.
Start an A/B test, and it'll be done by the time this podcast is over.
But you can't do an A/B with the
No, you
Oh,
can't.
that's what you're saying.
Or
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Oh, can you? You can't do it
No.
with the title?
I think it's only thumbnail.
Okay.
Sad, right? I would do turning children's glue into a delicious drink or beverage. No, beverage is too complicated. Drink. But like, what kind of drink is it? Like, what would you say? How would you describe it? Like maybe,
Forbidden
turning Elmer's glue into a forbidden drink.
first. Illegal.
No, because it's a real thing.
Yeah.
It's like
I
it is
mean,
a
the whole
drink.
concept of it is pretty cursed, though.
It is.
I think in my mind, because my brother and I have already talked about it, like I just like the title.
Oh my
Because
god.
I do like the literalness of it, but
No,
I do
yes,
we want
but
to
it's-
change
what I'm
the
saying
thumbnail.
is okay, I'm not even saying it's too literal. We're min-maxing right now, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying that you could be even more beautiful than you already are.
Thank you.
And I'm not saying that. that I
Thank you
think
for
you're
approaching
ugly.
this topic
I'm
so
saying you could go from a
caringly.
10 to an 11.
Hey, oh, you're so nice. I'm so much more receptive to this criticism now.
Jesus Christ. All I'm saying. I'm giving you my gut instinct. When I saw that, I was like, I agree with you. I agree. It's missing a layer of confusion.
Yeah.
Like I
agree.
I turned inedible children's glue into a delicious drink.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you're giving them both adjectives.
Yeah. Like I turned toxic children's glue into a delicious drink. And delicious, I do not think is out of field at all. Like there was a lot of people whose entire life is made so much better by it. And by better, I mean it becomes worse when they stop drinking it.
Yeah.
I have some people in my family like
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you'd rather interact with them drunk than sober.
I don't want to say yes to that. If that's an answer. Fuck. Guys, if you have a drinking problem, you should do something about it.
The number is on the screen.
Yeah.
Do we have editors to do that? Okay, well, just look it up.
Actually, John, do you feel like adding a number on the screen? John said, okay. What number do you call? Is it not 911? It can't possibly be 911.
No.
You know, my dad was helping me. So we're building a bathroom right now. That's why I'm covered in, I don't know, I was going to say shit, but like paint and caulk, covered in caulk.
You're like
You're laughing.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Twice.
I said I'm covered in caulk.
I did not.
Huh. Wow. Holy shit. He's strong. There he goes. And so he like left the house the other day going home, and he calls me and he's like, I just like a woman driving her car, like drunk, was like parked, like, you know, like a T intersection. She like went straight through the T intersection, and her car was like in the curb at the top of the T.
Oh.
And she like gets out of her car and then kind of walks back around and then gets back in the car, turns her lights off, and then backs up and then starts driving on the wrong side of the road.
Wow.
And so he's following her and he calls 911, and he sent me a dash cam video of it.
No way.
Yeah. Of her like backing up and like starting to drive in oncoming traffic.
Yeah.
And so he later found out like the next day that she was drunk and on fentanyl. driving her car around town.
That's a mighty fine combo.
I don't care what drugs you do, but how do you get to that point where that's never been a thing that has ever been crossed my mind. It's like, if you're really drunk, I've never.
Well, if you're drunk enough and on fentanyl enough, it makes you think it's a good idea.
Really?
You know, like, you ever get drunk and just be like,
on fent?
Just like the keys start kind of tingling in your pocket.
You're fenting out.
Yeah. And you're like, oh man.
I don't know. It's like, I mean, I just
kind of want to go for a drive right now, you know?
I want to drive, but it's too dark. I don't like red lights. I don't like white lights, which is why I drive in oncoming traffic. What the fuck? Am I like, have I just never been drunk enough?
No matter how much I don't drink much, but even like when we were in Japan, you know, after I got killed, it's like, to me, the last thing I'd ever want to do is anything that requires brain power.
Yeah.
And even if I would rather sleep on the side of the road than try to operate a car. But even then, it's like, even in Japan, when I was borderline non-functional, if you asked me, hey, do you want to drive? I'd be like, no. You're all going to die.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been, I don't know how it is. Like, the more I drink, that idea of just being confident that you can drive.
Never.
Okay, but what about go-karts?
I feel like,
what if it was a closed course? I think it would be.
I still think
fun.
I would be bad.
I
would still be critically aware that I am going to crash.
The drunkest I've ever been in my life, I'll walk 20 miles.
Yeah.
But the thought has never crossed my mind about like getting in a car. Like, I feel like the highest likelihood of drinking and driving would be when you're not that drunk.
Yeah.
And you think you're sober.
Yeah, you were at a restaurant, right. You know, you've had like maybe 2 beers with dinner, and you like leave right away.
You're so far past the line that you're just like, I'm not even, like, you don't even think about it. Like, it doesn't even cross your mind. It's not even passable.
It's like the more I drink, the less I would want to get in a car.
Exactly. So I don't know how do you end up in a car driving into oncoming traffic? Like, how do you even get into a car at that point? You'd think it's a good idea.
Maybe that was a fentanyl.
Maybe. I don't really know how that works.
Yeah,
though.
those two together are definitely doing something bad. But that's what you're saying is true. It's like, I think to me, again, I don't really drink, but like that would be the most dangerous thing where if you go to a restaurant, you have a couple drinks, it doesn't really hit
They give you
and
the
you're
big
like,
ones. You know, they don't have the small beers. They only have like
they only have big fentanyls.
Yeah.
yeah. You're like, I can make it. I feel fine. And then like 5 minutes into driving, you're like, uh-oh. It's like when you drive and you don't think you're tired and you start getting really tired when you're driving and you're like, I think this is the moment when you're supposed to pull over and not be driving. I can see that as a thing. But when you're already, I mean, maybe that's what happens to them, but I doubt it. They just get in the car absolutely destroyed. And to me, it's like when I've been super tired, the last thing I want to do is drive. Like you're just aware, you're like, I don't know. It just makes everything so difficult. I'd be perpetually and constantly afraid that I'm going to crash.
I'm surprised that your dad, like that story had a happy ending because I've done the same thing twice.
Driving on fent while drunk?
Yeah. And
or driving on alcohol on fent. Which way?
Both
Kevin.
at the same time. And got away with it. You know, there was no repercussions.
The fent police weren't around.
So I called the cops on 2 people before in Florida and like followed them.
How
and
bad was it?
Wait, you're doing it, but you're calling the cops, but you're doing it?
No, I was like in Will's dad's position, right? I saw somebody that was really like
Doing
out of their
driving
mind
bad.
or something. Yeah.
Playing gutter ball with the curbs in their car.
Oh yeah, like bouncing like back and forth between like all 3 lanes. Yeah. And it was like this one was an old person, so I'm like, I don't know if they have dementia or they're just like they took too much old people drugs, you know? And I followed her and she was just like ping-ponging across all 3 lanes. She was like, you know, trying to take a left-hand turn, but there was a median there. And that's how she got into her neighborhood. She's just like, I turn now. Boop, and turned. And I was on the phone with the cops and they pulled up to her house as she was getting out of the car. And
too late.
And it's too late.
Yeah.
They couldn't do anything.
I had the same thing happen. I was following this woman, like, you know, like late at night. So these were late at night and doing the gutter ball where the wheel hits the curb and straightens out. You're just, you're like literally like weaving. I mean, it's like, holy shit. And oncoming traffic, but there's like no cars, ends up making, you know, the correct turns into the neighborhood on the wrong side of the road. Pulls into the driveway, and the police is like, well, you have to prove, like, we have to see them driving, and so they're not driving it at that point. Like, you're like, all right.
I know. It feels bad because you're like, this person's going to do the exact same thing and like hurt somebody.
Yeah. I like, if you drive bad.
Like, they didn't even go talk to her or anything. Apparently.
Like, driving like that is such a, like, easy way to hurt somebody. Like driving bad, driving like an asshole is one thing, but driving completely like incoherent is so unforgivable. I don't know. I genuinely don't know how someone like it's
like you said before, I don't drink often, but like I've never been to that point where, like you said, the more you drink, the more you know it's a bad idea because you're more aware that you're just completely destroyed. You can barely walk. So you're like, why would I ever try to do this? But I mean, people, they'll use the excuse saying like, oh, my judgment was impaired. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like, I feel like, at least personally, that just doesn't really make any sense.
Well, it doesn't work either. I think you still go to jail.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, they try to say that to like, you know, but I still think it's like, to me, alcohol doesn't remove the thought that it's bad. It removes the care that it's bad. So it's like, you just don't care. You're like, oh, I know I'm not supposed to do this, but like, I'm not really fearing the repercussions, but like, you know, you're not supposed to drive. You don't like forget you're not supposed to.
So, I mean, that kind of makes sense. Maybe it just, it's like reduces your inhibitions and you always sort of naturally just don't care about driving. So it's like there's very little stopping you from driving. It's probably like, you think someone who drives like that already doesn't like use their turn signals and stuff?
Probably.
Yeah, I feel like they're already
back from
terrible.
Being a complete degenerate was like a little bit of fentanyl.
I think that like some people they just can't handle alcohol.
Yeah, and
they're just going to be like, you know, drunk drivers forever. You know, I don't think it happens. Like regular people don't get DUIs. But like it's people that have a problem with alcohol. Like 99%.
Why are they still
of the time.
driving? Dude, the drunkest I've ever been. You mean they're always drunk and so they have to drive occasionally?
Oh, pretty. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was gonna say that makes sense. There's people in my family like that.
Oh no.
I haven't been.
Are they listening?
drunk.
Are they listening to this podcast?
Nope, absolutely not. No way.
I haven't been drunk
Are they
in so long though. You know, like
yeah. Oh, like drunk. No.
drunk. Like,
It's awful.
yeah, I know.
No.
Well, it's not awful, but the next day, now I just know the next day. Like I just don't like the
night.
hangover.
For me, it just starts that night.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, it's like no. Nigel's bad too. I've only seen you drunk once. Nigel got short.
I fell apart.
Nigel, this is the only time
I could have driven though, man. I could have made it for us. I could have driven like that.
You know, I just found some of those videos.
Oh no, you should delete those. Absolutely. Why do you even have videos of that?
I don't know.
You know the rule.
No, everybody was recording.
I was absolutely not recording.
Well, somebody was, and I have the videos.
That means it was you,
Kevin, I have videos of you singing karaoke.
Dude, okay, so see, this is what it is. This is like what do you call that?
This is not bro code.
Mutually assured destruction.
That's
you were
a bad
supposed to
thing.
take a video of us.
No. Well, I was not. You were not supposed to take a video of me singing karaoke drunk. Didn't we buy a thing of oxygen too?
Oh yeah.
Someone was selling like the liquor store oxygen bottles that you could huff on. I think you bought that.
Oh. Because we met those random people in the lobby of the karaoke place.
Yeah.
I think
I don't think they had anything to do with that though.
Oh no.
Where did we get the oxygen? Yeah, you guys had a random oxygen bottle.
Like total just like stupid. What do you like gag gimmick? What do you call like the irradiation bracelet? What do you call it? Scam? That's a dangerous
like
scam.
Pseudoscience.
Pseudoscience scam product.
Yeah.
I think that the drunkest I've ever been. I remember like I in 3rd grade, I got sick, I ate Little Caesars pizza, and the next morning I like yacked it up.
Okay.
And I went home. That was like the last time I had thrown up.
Okay.
3rd grade.
3rd grade.
And then drinking. So I went a solid 10 to 12 years of never yakking. Like imagine
that's a good run.
10 to 12 years never throwing up.
Yeah, that's a good run.
And then I ruined it drinking.
Wow.
And
that's enough right there to make you stop.
it was horrible.
Yeah.
This is why do people do this? And I think I might just be like sensitive to it. And my mom is kind of like that too, where the hangover symptoms seem to come on faster. And I just don't want to say I don't hold alcohol well. I just don't hold the, like, it almost like the poisonous effects, I think, affect me more than other people.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just, I think the worst mistake I've ever made while drinking is drinking too much and then eating the wrong things. And then inevitably all the things that we just talked about happen.
Yeah.
Like Twizzlers and chili dogs.
Man.
Tastes much better separately.
See,
going down.
Now you know it removes your inhibitions.
Dude, I could not.
Because those two things,
no.
it'll make you eat things that you shouldn't.
I still can't eat Twizzlers.
Or Little Caesars.
I did get over that. That did take a while though. But Little Caesars was probably, I don't know, 8 years. I didn't eat it. Taco Bell had the same thing, but it was just regular food poisoning at Taco Bell.
Mm.
And I didn't touch Taco Bell for probably, I don't know, maybe that was a little bit less, maybe 4 years. Little Caesars is easier to avoid than Taco Bell because we have less of those here.
Yeah. But how long after you threw up from alcohol did you stop drinking for?
Probably not very long.
Yeah.
No. That's more of a social thing.
And you know it's controllable.
Yeah.
You're like, well, I just won't drink that much anymore.
Right, exactly.
But with Taco Bell, it's like Russian roulette.
Yeah. That's not my fault. That's the person who didn't wash their hands in the back's fault. Or the person who's walking around the lettuce barefoot.
Mm-hmm.
No way, that's Burger King. What's the last time you got really sick? Nice. Like food poisoning kind of sick or drinking sick? Like,
oh, like not like viral sick.
No. I mean, sort of the same symptoms of drinking too much. I was like food poisoning. Anything that makes you. I feel like some people really don't like talking about vomit.
I don't know. I used to be like so bad. Like after I got food poisoning, like I was so scared about getting it again. I would like check the dates on all my food. Like I would do if I felt nauseous, I'm like, I'm not a religious person, bro,
No.
but I would pray to God that I wouldn't throw up. I'm like trying to will my body to make myself have diarrhea instead or something.
Please.
Yeah.
I just don't
I'm
throw
over
up.
it though.
Yeah, but you still
Like,
get
it's just not my. No, but I'm saying like I can feel terrible. But I think the last time I actually, if I think about it, I think the last time I threw up was in 2015.
wow. That's huge.
I
From what?
remember it. So I remember because it was for nothing.
You just were
Oh,
standing
actually,
there?
no. I actually remember the last time I threw up. I think I told the story on the podcast when I said I drank some alcohol and it just was like the drunkenness was not going away
Oh, yeah.
for like 4 hours. So that was last year. But before that though was 2015, and that was for no. I was a grad student. I remember I'm sitting and talking to the other grad students at my desk, and then I just felt like really weird. Like my stomach didn't feel good, and I was like, I have to go to the bathroom. I just like walked, and then right before I got to the bathroom, I had to run, and I just threw up. Then I came back, and they're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, I feel fine now, but I don't know what just happened. And before that was like years. Like I think it was 8 years before that. I just don't throw up in general. So like when it happened randomly, I'm like, what the hell's happening?
Yeah, it's basically food poisoning now whenever that happens, which is never your fault. It's always someone else's fault. Go to some deli. I think the worst food poisoning I've ever had in my life was when Michael and I lived together in the house on the beach. We went to this deli and we went to this Mexican place. And it's got to be the deli. It has to be the deli.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably ordered the thing I always order at deli was like a Reuben.
Oh, okay. Like the roast beef.
The like corned beef or
that stuff.
And which you think is like indestructible rice pickled. Like how bad could corned beef go? And I have never been more disgustingly sick in my entire life. It was like double rainbow for at least half a week. And so I started popping Imodium, which is it's like an anti-diarrheal.
Yeah.
And then apparently I took too much Imodium.
Oh no.
Which can basically pull the e-brake on the train.
Yeah.
And then I didn't shit for like 2 weeks. And I went to a doctor, GI doctor, like just bypassed everything with our insurance, just went straight to a specialist. And they told me that that's normal. And I'm like, okay. And now I'm fine. I just the first shit I took, I thought I was like still eating, and I just like nothing. It was I don't know where it went.
Yeah.
But I took like this white shit. It was horrifying. I thought I was gonna die.
Oh yeah, isn't that like a side effect from the Imodium?
Yeah. Well, like it shuts everything down apparently, and so when your digestive system like starts back up, it just doesn't. It's like bile or something.
Okay.
Like something is missing. That
white.
It was ghost white.
That's so weird.
It was really not something that made me feel good. I thought I was gonna.
Your
die.
body was working at maximum efficiency. It extracted
every nutrient,
every single nutrient.
That's why you weren't making poop, because it was like you were going to rebuild after being sick.
I'm full of shit, Kevin. I ever since that though, like I do genuinely get scared sometimes going to places. Like my radar for CD, just imagine what it looks like in the back.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can think about. Like a Wiener Schnitzel, like what's it look like in the back?
I'm like, these people have never heard of food safety in their life.
No.
You know, they've never read that poster that says wash your
yeah.
Prevent foodborne illnesses.
Like I really have suffered from food poisoning enough that I will go to the same places that I trust over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And new places. If I don't,
I've never. So it's funny. I remember talking on the podcast once that I was like, I hadn't gotten food poisoning.
Never?
I think ironically after that,
you did.
Because in my mind was I never had a standout moment, but I think there's like small levels of food poisoning. Like you eat somewhere and there's like just enough to upset your body, but not enough for you to be like,
I'm sick.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're kind of like, oh, maybe my body's just angry. I don't know. So I don't know. Something weird.
I eat a lot of
forget
spicy
about
food,
it.
so I get that a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you know what I mean? You just are like kind of like chalk it up to, I don't know. I was stressed. I don't know, something. I'm fine. But then I think it was a gas station milkshake, and I will defend these. These are the greatest.
Why would you do
know
that?
what I did?
That's my
Kevin.
whole list of going to places that aren't seedy.
I've seen those things before, like the standalone milkshake machines.
Yes, they're amazing. And guess what? I conquered my fear. 6 months ago, I went back and I started having it again, which I was afraid to for years, and I had no repercussions.
Good for you.
So it shows that when you conquer your fear, you reap the benefits.
Wait, are those the machines that have like a game on them or something that you can play while you wait?
I don't think not this one. They're called For Real Shakes, so they're just like frozen.
Oh
in
no,
cups.
it's an app you can download. I remember seeing a QR code on one time.
Maybe
and I scanned.
Honestly, it's great. The price is great. I will stand by them, but I'm convinced that's what got me. It was when I was like, okay, I have food poisoning. It was bad enough that I almost went to the hospital.
You know what? You want to know something interesting? Is you think, oh, it's frozen, it's safe. Well, do you know what happens to something that's thawed out and melted and then it gets frozen again? It looks probably almost the same, especially if it's got a lid on it and you can't see.
Yeah.
Dude, that milkshake could have been sitting for like a full 24 hours or 48 hours unrefrigerated. And then they refroze it. And that's
it did.
What it do?
It did things.
What it tell me what it did.
Basically,
show me where
I didn't,
your toilet you splattered.
No. I'll say I never threw up as usual.
You threw down,
but I felt like someone was stabbing my stomach.
Yeah.
Like at one point, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I feel like my stomach is being like torn apart. Like I'm just sitting there. I felt like stabbing pains, and then I was like, I think I'm dying. So I didn't go to the hospital, but we have like a health line. I called like a nurse, and she was like, "Oh, if you start like vomiting
like,
blood, I would definitely."
Yeah. You want me to come give you a
kiss?
kiss?
Kissy. I love how it's like they give you some absolutely obvious symptom that you would go to the doctor for anyways. But when you show up with something like minor, they're like, "Why didn't you come in sooner?" And you're like, I don't know. I'm afraid of you judging me for coming in.
Yeah, but that's the last time I remember where it was like, it was not good.
No,
I was afraid of those For Real Shakes.
I straight up lost a week of my life with food poisoning. That Reuben that I ate took me out for a week. That was awful. I couldn't really work. I couldn't sleep. I went and got a blow up mattress and inflated it because I was sleeping so hot.
Oh, okay.
And I was also literally getting up every, I don't know, hour and a half.
Yeah, to go throw up.
So I slept in we had one extra room in the house. So I went and slept in that room.
Yeah. Just so you wouldn't
wake my poor wife up.
Yeah.
As I'm shitting and farting and diarrheaing and vomiting in the bathroom next to it.
Well, this one time I went to a gumbo truck.
Yeah. Geez. That's
yeah.
50,
it was like right next to Lowe's, it's just
50-50.
I don't even want to condemn you for that because you think that it should be fine.
Yeah, but even eating it,
yeah,
I had it a couple times and I'm like, this stuff, it's not hot. It should be hot. Like gumbo seafood, just like sitting there, it should be like hot when you get it, and it's not. And then I ate it one time, dude, and I was like, there's some I forget if it's like salmonella or E. coli, but I was so sick. It was like my joints were sore. It was like,
oh no.
And I looked up food poisoning, and one of them will like make it like your joints get inflamed.
Those are both really bad.
Yeah. So it was one of those, and it lasted like, I just felt sick for a week.
Maybe I had salmonella. Was E. coli? No, E. coli.
Yeah, those both last a long time.
Oh God.
Yeah, and they take a while to kick in too.
You know what? How come? Why come? What's the English? Where come? Why is there not a phone number I can call? And I could say, I just ate at these restaurants and now my shit is fucked.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's
there is
for you.
There is.
What is the website?
I don't know. It's called like foodpoisonинgreport.com, but it's not
like I've been poisoned.
But this is
it's filled with crazy people.
Exactly. So why can't I call and say I got food poisoning? And then they're like, cool, it's just some crazy person. And then a second person calls and says, I got food poisoning. And they list the places they ate. Because like if you get food poisoning and you call a restaurant and you say, I ate here yesterday and I have really bad food poisoning, they're gonna say like, you can't prove it, eat shit.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I'm not. I can't eat shit right now. I'm literally making the most shit I've ever made in my entire life.
Eat it. I'm making it.
I feel like there should be some public resource that people use where you can actually, because like, get it, dude.
I thought there was
poison. You have to get permits to serve food. Like you need like proper accreditation to serve food. You have health inspection. You got all sorts of stuff you have to do. Like even with open sauce, like there's a whole thing about food. There's homemade goods, there's this, there's that. There's certain, like, you can bypass certain rules if it's like a certain type of food or whatever.
Yeah.
You need to have like certain hygiene practices, like you need hot water, you need a sink, you need a this, you need a that, blah, blah, blah. But if you break any of those rules and actually give somebody food poisoning, there's no consequences and nobody can prove it. They just say, oh, that fucking sucks for you. We'll see you next week.
We're going to like find the establishment or something. Maybe not.
And they're like, you can next week, you can enjoy last week's roast beef again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I will never come back here.
And that's the problem is like, I don't think people know the difference between like, oh, I'm sick and like actual food poisoning.
But that's why you keep a count, right? So like if 10 people call in, but the problem is you need people to feel like their action will actually have consequences for the establishment. And so somebody calls in and they say, I've got food poisoning. These are the 3 places I ate yesterday. Someone else calls in, it's like, I got food poisoning. I ate at one place yesterday. Someone else calls in. They're like, okay, we've gotten a couple of reports. The one restaurant that lines up is this one.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can literally just get away with poisoning people and the only consequence is your business goes out of, just like people just stop going there and then new customers show up is insane to me. There's a lot of things you cannot do to each other. And somehow food poisoning is like sort of acceptable and unenforceable.
Yeah. I think at like the nationwide level, people get in trouble.
Yeah.
Like, like the giant,
Tyson.
Yeah. Tyson, stuff like that.
The chicken torture factory.
Yeah. The dairy places.
I think they also make chicken nuggets too.
Yeah. But have you ever, so there's also, what is it called? Rotavirus? Norovirus. The cruise ship one.
What does that one do?
It's like turbo food poisoning. It's like you start like throwing up basically within like, I think like 12 hours of getting this virus. And that's how it spreads across a whole cruise ship. Like in a couple days.
Even associated with cruise ship.
Yeah. Well, it's like just the probability of one person having it.
Does it like get into the kitchen? Is that what happens?
No. I think it's so bad. It's so contagious. It only takes like literally several viral particles to infect you.
Oh, so you're done.
Yeah.
Hand sanitizer doesn't kill it, John said. What?
I think you'd try. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because, John says you have to use soap and water, which is why it spreads because people don't fucking wash their hands nowadays.
I don't know, man. It's been around forever, though. I don't think it's like.
Why isn't it everywhere right now then? Why is it?
I mean, it's been
proximity
it's like
of a cruise ship?
Maybe. Yeah, probably. I think like just like flushing a toilet aerosolizes it.
So like it's just so many people in close quarters.
And it's probably just like there's enough of the virus like on cruise ships or something that it's like
oh my God.
Somebody's gonna get it and then a wave starts all over again.
What is the timeline of that? Is that like a week, 2 weeks?
I think less.
A couple days?
Yeah.
Sounds fast?
It's fast.
Rip and tear?
Oh yeah. But it's also over fast too. It's like a 24-hour thing.
Okay. I could deal with that.
But it's the worst 24 hours of your life, dude.
Yeah.
It's like
I mean,
constant.
How do you know? Have you had it?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
When? On a cruise?
To the Bahamas.
No!
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Everyone got it?
Yeah.
Who cooks food?
Actually, my whole family except for my mom.
She somehow escaped it?
Yeah.
So what? Just
my poor mom sitting in the room while all of us are just like,
I would not be in that room. I would absolutely not be in that room. No way.
Nope.
I think the last like bad time I got sick was right before COVID, which part of me is suspicious that it was COVID. We were in Australia with me, Max Mofo, Anything for Views, iDubbbz, and we were in an Airbnb and we were going to, Max wanted to make a video about making a giant pizza. And so we buy all the ingredients, we made the dough, and then that night, or maybe the morning, everyone was sick. And sick to the point where like there was like headaches, migraines. So like everyone was like was sleeping with like the blinds closed, eye masks on. And I'm not sure what does that because I've never really been sick like that where it's almost like living in your head. And it took
and everybody got it.
Everybody got it except for me, but I think I did get it like a few days later than everyone else because I ended up like I was starting to like I was basically on the plane going home and I started feeling like, you're on a plane, you feel bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're like, oh, maybe I just didn't get enough sleep the night before,
Right.
kind of thing.
And then you start feeling worse.
I
thought I
call
got
it
lucky. I thought I had just completely
Kevin, I
escaped
call
it.
it the denial phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, like
your throat starts tingling and you're like, maybe it's like
I'm just
pollen.
thirsty. I'm just thirsty. It's the air conditioning. Yeah, it's just making me.
Yeah. My throat's a little dry. I'm not sick.
Yeah.
It's like I get on the I'm on the plane. I put a mask on, like just in case, and I did not escape it, and I got to live through it at home. Oh wait, actually no, that's not the worst. I think one of the other worst sicknesses we ever got was coming back from installing that subscriber counter, Mr. Beast Studio.
I think I escaped that one.
Really?
Yeah.
How did I get it? I wasn't sleeping a whole lot.
I don't know.
That to me, that actually
I don't even remember it, so I know I didn't get sick.
That was horrible. That was a migraine. I was like stuck in bed with like the worst headache of my life for like a day or two. That was awful.
Oh, that was at the hotel, right?
No,
hotel
I
where I
survived
found
the hotel.
Okay.
No, that was the first. That was Squid Game. Were you? I don't think you were actually there for the subscriber counter thing. We just made this giant these giant wheels. Were you there?
I was there. Yeah,
you were there.
You went twice, right?
Yeah, twice.
I think I was there for one of them.
Then that was Squid Game.
No. I mean, you went for the subscriber counter thing. That was
God. I don't even remember.
And I went with you once, but not the next time.
Maybe? I can't remember.
Yeah, but I was there. I remember.
Then you got lucky.
Who was it? 1000 was.
Oh yeah. Oh, maybe I did go twice. God, did I really go twice? Holy shit. Well, yeah, I don't remember it. I think part of my brain was damaged from whatever I caught when I was in North Carolina.
Do you remember when I found weed in the hotel room?
That was awesome.
Yeah. That was
I think
sick.
I had to blur that in the video.
Yeah.
Got dinged.
Kevin, did you test to make sure it was good?
The microwave weed?
Yeah, the microwave weed.
Yeah.
It was like I noticed something under the microwave and I'm like, oh, is it the manual? And I pulled it out and it was like this folded up piece of paper. And there was like, a decent amount of weed in there.
Why?
I wonder if it's still there.
Did we put it back?
Yeah, Kevin, just put it back.
Good citizen. Put some microwave weed back into the microwave.
Pay it forward,
I'm going to check my printer really quick. Where are we at?
I'm going to get a Diet Coke.
No. $400? I don't want to pay $400 for this printer.
Mid-podcast?
Huh?
Can't just get up and walk
2
away
hours.
mid-podcast.
2 hours. There's 2 hours, Nigel. I have 2 hours until my large format printer auction ends. Okay. How much do I pay? We're doing live brainstorming session for gubdeals.com. The printer brand new. I think these things cost upwards of like 10 grand. It says it needs some maintenance.
How old is it?
I have no idea. I don't think anyone's asked that. I think it's probably, I don't know, maybe 5 years old.
So if it's not guaranteed to work and it might need some maintenance,
it says they said it needs some print heads. They said currently has paper jam. Plotter requires purchase of 3 new print heads to maintain print quality. That means that it still works, but whatever, right? No? To maintain print quality?
I don't know what that means.
Maybe it's just a warning. Maybe like a warning pops up saying you need to replace the print head.
That's bad though.
Is that?
I mean, that means the print head. That's like the thing that squirts.
You replace
the
the
ink
whole
out.
head though. They're like a few $100 each.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but if the whole printer is a couple $100
you can get knockoffs. They're fine
for a 60-inch print. Oh, the print head. For this printer.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
If anything, more likely than a shitty.
I'm absolutely
desktop one.
on board with this knockoff one. How much is this worth? It weighs 420 pounds.
And then the ink. Does it use cartridges or a refillable tank?
I have no idea. That's a great question.
Do the cartridges have ink? Heads built in?
My whole plan of action was to just get this thing for a couple $100 and then figure it out there. It's got these big, it kind of looks like cartridges or something.
Oh my God, that's gonna be so expensive. Holy sh!
You think there's not? You think is this a bad idea? Should I not be doing this?
I don't know.
2018 it was manufactured.
Pretty new.
So, what? I don't understand. It's one bottle of ink. How expensive could it be?
That looks like a big bottle of ink.
Yeah.
Like a cart.
That's
like
separate from the print.
A carton of ink.
So the print head goes onto the carriage.
That's the thing that squirts the ink out.
And the ink is a separate one?
Some printers, they're all in one.
Oh shit.
For like crappy desktop printers, it's like
Yeah.
it's built onto the bottom of the cartridge. Other ones, it's like a whole separate unit that the ink gets like fed into.
Mm.
And if one of those are bad, I mean, like,
Do you want to know one of the?
How do they? It must just been like it's caked.
It's got to be
ink.
a warning. I think it's just a warning saying that it's like needs to be maintenance or something.
Okay.
Here's my life hack. When I was younger, my dad is a cheap ass. Like I wouldn't even say he's frugal. It's almost like a fetish being as cheap as possible. But it's never with himself. It's always with his family. It's like, how can he be cheap with his family, right? Like the whole going to a theme park and bringing sandwiches and just instead of spending the $15 on some shitty theme park food.
He can spend the money on something else.
Yeah.
Beer.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So God, that sounds bad when you put it that way. So we're we've got a printer and it's probably like always out of ink. And so my genius brain was like, what do I have around the house that sort of resembles ink?
Oh no.
That I could replace the ink in our shitty inkjet printer with. What do you think? Do you have any guesses? What would you do?
You squeezed a permanent marker into it?
No. That's a good idea.
Paint?
Though.
What
is like something you could put into your printer that would maybe work as ink for the inkjet?
Oil?
Ballpoint pens.
Food coloring.
Huh.
So I drilled a hole.
Yeah, that probably makes the most
cartridge.
sense.
Yeah.
And I pumped it full of food coloring and it fucking worked.
Hell yeah.
I was like, holy shit, I'm God.
I thought you were gonna say it still wouldn't print because the chip on the cartridge said it was empty.
Oh, I don't think they were maybe smart enough back then. I think that's probably when HP was more focused on making their products good to make money instead of making their products shitty to make
That's
money.
so good. And it worked.
It totally worked. The colors were completely whack, right? Because you're not.
Oh yeah, it's cyan, magenta, and yellow.
A lot of color science went into making ink cartridges, not to refilling them with food coloring. So they were not. The colors were completely wrong. I think it was. God, I must have used like red. So I must have just filled it up with, whatever I had.
RGB.
Yeah, which absolutely is not how that works at all. And I think a dye might earn. I don't know how color's confusing.
Well, I just went on a printer deep dive.
RGB is light. It has to be light, right?
Yeah.
Pigment is subtractive.
Yeah.
Is that why?
I think that's why they do it. Because they're printing on white paper.
Yeah.
And it's also a dye versus a pigment.
Yeah.
Which would like sit on top of the paper.
Oh my God.
Because I was trying to figure out how. Here's my really bad idea. Could I replace the ink in the cartridge with UV cure resin to make my own 3D or my own PCBs?
Probably.
I was thinking maybe it's too thick.
You could probably water it down or find one that's more liquidy.
Maybe. Or like super glue or something. But if it clogs the print head, then you have to like figure out how to unclog it.
Oh, you know the answer to that. More print heads.
More print heads. Well, I was so the really cheap ones, they use what is it called? Resistive print heads. So they have like a resistor in the print head for each like
it heats up the ink.
It heats up the ink and like explodes it out. So those
like food poisoning.
Yeah, so those are cheap enough where I could just like do this as a test.
Yeah.
If I find like a cheap printer at Goodwill.
Goodwill's not cheap anymore.
The other ones are piezo print heads.
Okay.
So that uses like, I don't know, like it actually just like squeezes a channel to squirt the ink
like it
out.
just puts like pressure into microfluids.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you, Nigel? Okay, you're sort of a chemist.
That's a good
ink
description.
Printer ink. What could you make printer ink out of? What is printer ink? Alcohol?
Yeah, alcohol or oil.
Oil
based.
Is that depend on the piezo or resistive?
No, I think it's all just like
fried,
like their own. Yeah.
I feel like turning. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but like for a video, like turning the printer ink is so expensive that you're turning something really cheap into printer ink. Like what's a cheap produce or like turning expired eggs into red ink for my printer.
Yeah.
Just blood. You just put blood in your printer.
Dude, I think that would work. Wait,
Mm-hmm.
What?
It would all coagulate and then get blocked.
I'm sure there's something you could put in there to stop that from happening.
Yeah.
Oh, what you should do? Could you load blood in an inkjet printer to make a really people write messages in blood?
Yeah.
But you could just
I think you could
You
totally
definitely
do that.
could.
You could definitely do that. I don't see why you couldn't. Even if you had to thin it out with something, you could totally do that. I bet you could put alcohol. What happens when you mix blood and alcohol? Any guesses? Now we're starting to sound like the Q&A of our Patreon Discord server.
Well, I mean, they say alcohol thins the blood.
They would
right?
ask what happens when you put cum in the printer, though.
Oh, you're right.
My computer's exploding.
What are you doing? Are you rendering videos on a podcast? That's not how this works.
I'm not doing anything. It just literally everything started glitching.
All right, if you mix blood and alcohol, it would thin it. That's the theory.
Well, just because it's diluting.
What if we give the animal blood thinners before we kill it?
Oh, like the rat poison.
Yeah,
warfarin.
How does that work?
You can just put anticoagulants in the blood. I think.
Chemistry.
Yeah.
I was into chemistry.
Okay, you were in the murder part of chemistry. Oh, you know what? Is that another one? We've got drugs, bombs, and now poison.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can just mix it with the blood, I think, and then it just doesn't coagulate.
Because
I think they do that. Well, I'm pretty sure. I thought they did that for when they draw blood. There's like an anticoagulant in the tube or something,
like coating.
That otherwise you would just get a congealed mess.
Wait, how does this rat poison work? This way, the more I just put 2 and 2 together. What the fuck? Does it cause like internal bleeding or something?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. They just can't clot.
Yep.
No, they like blood coming out of their eyes.
They bleed from every orifice.
Seriously?
It's horrible.
I think it takes long enough to kill them too, so they'll keep going back and getting more and more.
Oh no! So their blood just is water, and it comes out of everything.
It starts leaking like out of their capillaries and stuff.
Holy shit! That's fucking evil.
And we give the same thing to old people.
Because
it's literally heart medicine.
Take too long at the self-checkout line. Warfarin. Is that what it's called?
Warfarin. Yeah. It's the same thing that
drive on the wrong side of the road. Warfarin.
Yeah.
It has the word war in
Whip
it.
out a checkbook in 2025.
Warfarin. Make Thanksgiving dinner awkward with your family members. Warfarin. Finish your wine, Grandma.
Yes.
That's truly awful, and I can't believe we're allowed to do that. But I also, why not? What happened to just mechanical murder methods? Why we gotta go chemical warfare?
I mean, those are still good. Well, I mean, there's the classic rat poison, which is just like the original rat poison. I'm pretty sure was arsenic trioxide. So it's just arsenic.
What did that do?
It just poisons them.
How?
No, I think it just makes them feel very bad until they die.
That's awesome. I'm glad that we invented that.
And then people, I mean, that's why people classically realize, like, hey, it kills rats. But if I put this in, like, my husband's drink, I can also get rid of him.
My husband's kind of a rat.
You know how many epic drugs and medicines we've come up with from like trying to kill pests?
Probably a lot.
Probably a lot of them. Most of them somehow.
There's actually, it's a pretty cool story about,
cool?
Specifically about arsenic rat poison. No, it's interesting because people would just poison each other with arsenic, but there was no medical science to figure out if the guy was poisoned. And they're like, oh, I guess he died. We think it could be a poisoning, but we can't prove it. And it was something called the Marsh test. A guy figured out how to take a sample of a person who was killed, and they could detect extremely minor quantities of arsenic. And then after that, suddenly people stopped poisoning people with arsenic because you could detect it. But before that, it was kind of just like so easy to poison someone you didn't like.
The good old days.
Yeah, I know. I miss those days.
I feel bad for that one. I think it was
days.
Probably
that one person who poisoned someone, and then that's when the test was found. They're like, "Come on, really? I'm the one who gets caught."
See, that's why I'm not going to kill anybody, because you never know what they're going to come up with. It's like they just put the satellite into space that can like it's always recording or something, and I'm going to get busted.
Ice knife.
Yeah, they're going to see me stab somebody with the ice knife.
Where is the ice knife? And they'll be like, we don't know where it went.
Then I'm free.
I'm free. They can't. They
no
can't.
murder weapon.
It's like getting out of your car after drinking and driving.
Ice knife, but it's arsenic in the water. That way they're not sure, is it a knife?
Okay.
Or is it arsenic poisoning? What if you combine like a ton of different things together, and so they just like couldn't figure out what the hell was going on?
Oh yeah, they think
this man was poisoned.
Yeah.
like everything.
Oh, so
Everything.
what you should do is poison someone and then hit them with your car. Because then they'll find the poison and you could be like, I didn't kill. I don't know.
The poison broke all their bones.
Yeah.
Wait,
I'm saying that like you do so many things at the same time that it's like, you're like, sure, like, I was implicated. I did this one thing, but like, did that kill him? I don't know. He had like
Dead
fentanyl,
man
rat
walking,
poison.
Into the middle
Like,
of the road
he
at
was-
night.
how much?
Like I don't know. I feel like you can get away with it.
Okay, so we mix. Let's get back to the printer ink.
Okay.
This is important. I think this is a fucking horrible idea. We should do. Someone should do this. What else could you put in a printer? Okay, so if you're trying to actually make the color, like if you're like, ink's too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I need to come up with a new ink that I can make with stuff around the house or stuff that's in it, more affordable. It has to be cyan, magenta, yellow. It has to be. You can't print if you do RGB. That doesn't work, right?
I don't know. I think so.
It makes black, right?
I think RGB just makes like purpley brown
backwards.
I don't know.
You can't make. Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, you can't make certain colors with RGB. I think.
Okay. That's so
RGB
weird.
works with light,
That's so
but
weird.
then
I feel like I don't.
Dude, I don't know
why it
any of
doesn't
this
make any sense to
science.
me, but that's I think one is subtractive, one is additive. So RGB is adding.
Yeah. I know the keywords. I don't know the reasons.
But pigments are absorbing. That's
I
what's
think
happening,
that's what
right?
it is.
Well, your
So when
printers
white light
aren't
hits a pigment.
pigments either. Usually the color is
What's the difference between a pigment
in a dye.
and? Oh, gee.
Usually you use dyes for printing photos
Okay.
on glossy paper because the pigment doesn't get absorbed.
What is the difference?
Like literally little tiny particles,
Okay.
like, well, I guess macro
Yeah.
particles versus like individual chemicals that are a certain color, like molecules.
So pigments are chunky.
Yeah.
It's like orange juice with pulp,
Mm-hmm.
but there's no orange juice.
Yeah, you
just
strain it
pulp.
with your teeth. That's what the photo paper does. So it never actually goes into the paper.
Wait, so it's like dithering in like a comic book. Pigments. You just have a ton of tiny dots.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the dye is like chemically homogeneous.
Yeah.
So the entire paper becomes yellow, but the pigment is just most of the paper. is
surface.
yellow.
I mean,
First, no,
If you were to
it, like literally won't absorb into photo paper. It'll
So it's,
just
like,
sit on the
stuck on
surface.
it.
if
Okay.
you the general thing that I think the separation is like a lot of dyes are organic, but a lot of pigments are inorganic.
I would like you
So
to
it's
know
like,
that means nothing to me.
Dyes fade.
I'm explaining to you. So it's like a lot of organic molecules you can dissolve in like a solvent or an oil, but the inorganic stuff you can't. So like titanium dioxide, it'll be like sand. So you just like crush it up. It's just like a solid insoluble thing. So for white titanium dioxide, they do a lot of like metal oxides that they're not soluble in like
Lead
anything.
oxide.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas like the dyes, you get like indigo, you get these other dyes that will dissolve in like acetone and a huge array of chemicals. So if you make like, oil-based paint, you can just dissolve it into it. You can do pigments in oil as well, but it's
The
like when it
pigments are
dries,
suspended.
it's like
hmm
exactly
Mm.
because it's just not really soluble in anything.
That's why you have to mix your paint.
That's generally like the separation,
Okay, so
as far as I know.
then for printer inks, these are dyes. Probably.
Yeah, I think
Dyes.
so. Yeah,
So, like,
they're like
liquid
some
is
sort of
probably a
dye.
dye.
I mean, if you're printing on regular paper, it doesn't
It's like some sort
matter.
of solvent.
Doesn't.
No.
But like are liquidy inks dyes usually? You think?
They're both just as liquidy.
or even a pigment. Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, you wouldn't really be able to know, but I do think it's a dye in a
So
print.
what?
I'd assume.
So if you're trying to source colors or
Mhm.
the liquid colors for a printer to make your own printer ink, why does it feel like cyan is the hard one? What's blue?
Baja Blast.
Is that strong enough though?
Maybe you have to boil it down.
Then it's too thick. You gotta take the corn syrup out of it.
Oh yeah.
How do we take the corn syrup out of Baja Blast, Nigel?
You want just the
You can
dye?
take the
That's easy.
Baja out of the blast, but you can't take the blast out of the
It
Baja.
depends. it depends on the dye. You can get like really water soluble dyes and ones that are less water
we're just
soluble.
pulling the dye they put in there out. That feels like cheating.
Maybe the yellow you can extract.
You
it
can
from, like,
you can
Cheese
just order
Whiz.
their dye.
Cheese Whiz?
directly.
Is that dye too though? That's in the Cheese Whiz? It's gotta be. Are we literally just taking things
like
and
the
going
yellow,
back to
number 5? And
we're just oh my god, now that I feel stupid. We're just going straight to the food coloring that's already in it.
yeah.
Why? You're just buying contaminated food coloring.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck.
I was
What
gonna
about,
say,
like,
why don't you just
what can we? All right.
Like a leaf. Can you like crush up a leaf
yeah,
for green?
that's what. Now I'm talking.
Yeah.
Give me that green. No, but fuck, it's not one. We need the other ones.
What about like craft paint? You know, like the really crappy paint that you buy for like elementary school.
Ooh, paint.
Yeah,
That would work, right?
maybe.
Wait, is anyone? We should definitely just throw a bunch of shit at printer and see what happens.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, I'm like fully down a printer rabbit hole right now. I know like everything about printers.
Man.
Kevin, can you print? We can.
I think if you had
should print some.
Keep going, Nigel. Sorry.
I was gonna say print nitrocellulose,
That seems.
Oh, that's interesting.
so you can make like flammable ink.
Yeah,
that's fine, right?
unless it's like the resistive.
I wanted
heater
to
print
3D.
head.
It's the dry.
I wanted to
part that's
3D
bad.
print nitrocellulose because then I thought that'd be
because you can
cool just to
dissolve
have,
it
like, a
in like
flammable-
what, acetone or nitromethane.
acetone, yeah. Or something. It goes into a bunch of solvents.
There's
I think.
I think they call them UV printers.
Yeah. Yes.
I think you could pretty much put anything in one of those.
that's piezo then.
I think so, and I think maybe it's it's designed to, I think, work with like a thicker ink.
A lot of the like early
Red
3D
used to be made out of
printers-
crushed beetles. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Is it? Do they still not? They don't make it out of crushed beetles anymore. It's the
still-
cactus thing, right? The cactus bugs. Yeah.
It's their. I made a short about it.
the cactus bugs.
Yeah, that you crushed.
What
the
is
red's
my
Did
really
you
purpose?
crush
strong.
any bugs?
What is my purpose?
Or you just bought
did
you
crush
bought? Oh,
bugs.
didn't you buy like just a chunk of the stuff?
You make Doritos yellow.
No, I bought all the bugs and I crushed them.
Oh, you did?
You did?
Yeah.
Were they alive?
Yes,
You
I
died.
murdered them all. No, they were like just dry.
Mm.
What red number is that? Not red 40, is it?
I don't
What is
know.
red 40?
I was gonna
Okay.
say red 40 based on nothing. I was like, my computer's doing something weird.
Okay, so
I was just sitting here and the calendar opened and the audio
you were
started glitching.
you were kind of lagging a second ago. You thought when's the
Yeah.
last time you restarted it? Are we doing?
I mean, you only have to restart your computer once every
Doing what?
few years, right?
Oh yeah.
You
You only have to
restart
restart
your
it-
computer every day. What are you doing?
No,
over
like
there?
every few years, maybe. No, I
You?
restarted it yesterday, maybe.
Oh, then you got a porno virus.
Oh no.
All right. Well, he's fixing his thing. I have
No, I
some
think- I
other
don't- there's nothing to
printer
do.
ideas.
I think this is one of the best kept secrets ever. Is I'm pretty sure you can actually stick anything into a printer cartridge and it will print. The variation and the problem is going to be longevity.
Yeah. Yes. Definitely. So here, what about 3D printing with a desktop printer?
They do that. Oh, they definitely. That's how a lot of the professional ones do work.
Oh, really? They
Yeah.
squirt out like UV resin and then
yeah.
cure it in layers.
Yes.
Shit.
Hmm.
That was my idea.
I don't know if it's necessarily UV though, but I think a lot of them
Or
literally are
something.
inkjet space.
Okay. Also, I wanted to do sugar water and like print something out of sugar and then you can eat it.
That
I think it'd be hard to get the sugar content high enough that it would instantly crystallize.
Maybe if it was warmed, like a warm
think
chamber.
that if you were in a very dehumidified environment,
Yeah. You might have to go slow too.
imagine you had a bunch of molecular sieves in there.
Maybe
in
I
a
can do it with
closed
salt.
container.
Yeah.
No,
I
I
have
would.
a suspicion.
Say warm it to have the cartridge somehow be warmed, so you can get the max solubility, but then chill the plate that you print on.
Yeah.
Also a tattoo gun.
On a printer?
No, make it out of an inkjet cartridge. So not like a real tattoo, but like a temporary tattoo. So you could swipe it over somebody and
I
it
think
like,
you could just do it with regular ink.
but it's cool if it's a handheld printer.
You just get a handheld
Do you ever
printer
see
and
those,
stick it-
Kevin, that you can print on anything?
What are you saying, Will?
Just get a regular one. They sell those.
Oh, that prints over anything?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it squirts ink out?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
You've never seen that?
No.
Oh, they literally have that.
Well, I mean, I know that they use it for like printing,
shipping.
like, on assembly lines and stuff. Yeah.
They have gun ones that you can just go like,
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
it tracks the speed.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
Tracks it with some kind of sensor.
You know, a Chinese company sent me one and it exploded in the package, and so I never opened it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're actually really cool.
But you could put like henna tattoo, I think, in it.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
Well, the cool part would have been coming up with this idea, but now that somebody already came up with
sorry. This has been
Yeah.
a thing for like probably decade and a half or maybe more.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen
Kevin,
it
no.
in
This is so
industrial
embarrassing
settings.
for you.
I know.
I've fingernail ones where you like
Oh, that's
you
cool.
put your hand into it and it like prints on your fingernails. I went
You know
down
what
this rabbit hole too, and I can't remember why.
What I want to do is not printing. I just want to make little temporary tattoos with silver nitrate. And they already, that's a thing that there's a thing, they do it to like mark animals. That's what I think I've read.
Wait, what is silver nitrate? That's not the
silver nitrate. They use it as, I think I read, they mark like cows and other stuff and to track wildlife. It's just, I mean, it's relatively inert, but if you get it on your skin, it soaks in a little bit, mostly through the dead skin layer. And then if you wash it off, it doesn't matter. It'll degrade pretty quickly. Sunlight and UV will break it down back into silver. So it'll turn black.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So it's like a layer of silver in your skin.
Wait, that's what? That's so cool.
Yeah. Except
there's like no data on humans, but they're like, it's safe on animals because it's better than tagging them. And I'm like, but where's the human data?
Don't they make like silver nitrate? Like, I could swear that there was a product for people that used this, that you would like
maybe
put it on, like not like burns or something.
What's the silver people? The blue people?
Yeah,
they eat the
colloidal silver.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between that and then just embedding it directly in your skin? Maybe it's less concentration.
I think it can like come out of your skin because it doesn't soak deep in.
So it will go away eventually?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Oh wait, I looked it up, and in 2020, somebody wrote a whole paper on
everyone died
using it as like a tattoo.
That's like a total Trojan horse. So it's like you have a liquid that is carrying silver into your skin, and then the sun decomposes it, and so you end up then with just chemical silver.
Yeah, it's super common if you work in like a chemistry lab, or you're doing this in college.
You spill it on yourself eventually.
You spill it on yourself. You get it, like you find all the holes in your gloves because the next day you notice like all these black spots all over your fingers.
You think you're dying.
Yeah.
What? Okay, so then what? Why is it black?
It's like that's just what color silver is
when it's not shiny?
When it's like yeah, exactly.
That is
like microscopic and like diffused.
That is bizarre.
I think cool. I have some if you want to try it.
I would definitely put a dot. How long does it last? A couple of years?
Oh no, like
weeks.
Weeks?
Like a week or two.
So your horrible skin shedding thing.
It really only goes into your like dead skin layer. It's not like, yeah, this person apparently in 2020 wrote a whole paper and they were trying to come up with different ways to do it. But I never found online, like people would ask questions if you could, and some people were like, I guess you could, but it just didn't seem like it was a thing.
This is a Nile Blue video.
Well, the problem is there's not much to do.
What do you mean there's not? That's exactly what you put a fucking apple into bird stop in a video. What do you mean you can't make a sun activated tattoo?
You're right. That is cool.
That's sick. I'm gassing you up, and you're trying to make me stop.
I don't need your gas.
Do you think it'll work with just like a black light or like a UV flashlight?
You almost don't even need anything. You can just like do it and then just like live your life, and it'll degrade from just light. But yeah, I would definitely shoot it with a black light of some sort. It breaks down pretty easily.
Well, you guys don't really get a whole lot of sun where you're at.
No. Definitely don't. Oh wait, this person, they're trying a bunch of different tattoos. They had a little Pikachu one.
So, okay.
The person tried it on themselves, and they said they got pretty detailed ones.
How would you frame that for a video? A tattoo that is only visible in the sun?
But it's not only, it just like, once.
No, yeah.
Oh,
but this is,
I guess what you're
saying. Okay. Fine.
Clickbait, okay.
A tattoo that wouldn't exist without the sun?
Developing, I don't know, like.
Sun activated tattoo.
Yeah, sun activated tattoo.
If I saw that, see, I think that's you can get away with a video like that. I don't think we can do that. like a Nile blue sun activated tattoo, you'd be like, oh, that's gonna be something interesting. And then you just cover you cover like half your body in it.
What I do is I literally go I fill a bucket with silver nitrate. I get in.
Your brother and
Reggie,
they like tie you up from your arms and legs, like, or 2 arms and 1 arm, 1 leg.
Yeah.
And they dip you, they slowly dunk you into the pool of it until you're perfectly like halfway.
And then we have a tanning bed. I go completely full. I completely change colors.
Oh God.
That would actually be, I don't want to give people ideas. I bet you some for an art project would do that, because you would be able to like quote unquote like dye your entire body.
It's pretty dark.
Yeah.
It's black.
Like
it's
darker than like squid ink or something.
Oh no, it's like it
I'm
could
not
be
sure.
From this photo I'm seeing of people who did, depends on the concentration, but usually my experience with it is like you work with silver nitrate and you get a little bit lazy and you just don't really put gloves on. So you would notice your hands like spackled with these black dots or like whatever stuff where you spilled it on your hand. But it's pretty dark. And if you let enough soak in, it could be like black.
Like getting paint on a t-shirt. It's like, well, this is my painting shirt now.
I wonder if you could use a UV laser, like a little 5 milliwatt laser pointer to like develop
and
it
draw
on your arm. Yeah.
And just don't
you
go
probably
outside.
could.
Yeah.
You actually probably could. That would be very weird. You make you let it soak in, your arm's the canvas, and then you draw it with a laser. But the problem is like the moment you go outside, it's gonna all develop. Oh,
yeah, but for a video, if it develops quick enough.
That's a cool idea. So like, yeah, that's a good demonstration.
And then
how long does it take to develop? Is it like instant?
It's pretty, it can be pretty fast.
Like tens of seconds or
I don't know. I don't know that I have to figure out these details.
all right, I want to make cyan ink.
Okay.
Blueberries.
Hey, okay.
What's blue?
Blueberries.
Fuck.
You know that
Is there anything
getting
else
blue? Will, you know getting blue, people fought wars over blue.
Are you serious? Are we just totally hosed? What
There's
color is
indigo.
Wait, what did you say?
What? Indigo.
Oh, we said it at the same time.
Yeah.
What do you make
Indigo
that out
is
of?
the color of indigo, believe it or not, is indigo.
That is, I think that's the film one, right?
It's
the
jeans.
blue, like the
blue
blue-
jeans is
blueprint?
indigo.
That's, I think, absolutely in the ballpark of cyan.
This?
It's lighter than that.
Hmm.
Right?
But
Yeah.
jeans are indigo usually. Cyan is like turquoise-ish, right?
Red we can get purple from red cabbage. That's close. No, that's kind of magenta. Purple magenta.
You could just find a blue rock and crush it up.
Where am I gonna find a blue
Yeah.
rock?
Dude, they're all over the place.
They're like, that's like one of the deepest things in Minecraft.
What about the
yeah, but I steal them from people's garden. I don't
lapis
know.
lazuli?
Yeah.
Whatever lapis. I don't even know. Lazuli. That's on mine. I mean, it's a real thing, but I know it from
Copper?
Minecraft.
Oh yeah,
Copper
maybe
oxide?
copper sulfate.
That's
Copper
true,
sulfate?
Yeah,
That's,
but copper sulfate's not gonna.
That's probably
it
about
would
the right
work.
color.
Yeah, it would oxidize a little bit over time and turn white, I think.
Is that the like preservative?
Or
No, it's
Which
like the
was it?
root killer is what
Yeah.
you can buy it in stores for. You pour it in your drains and it kills roots
Growing your drains?
in your septic tank.
God, I hate it when there's roots feeding on my shit.
yeah, if it oxidizes over time, it'll turn like
That's
I mean,
a feature.
actually-
Color
actually-
marker color
Yeah,
changing.
it's self-erases.
the
Grandma's
like
grandma's skin
copper
tone starts
oxide
getting
is
weird
pretty.
as the photo is aging.
Yeah.
In the house.
Copper oxide's kind of
Just like
cyan.
her.
It's more turquoise, but it's like
I think that
if you use
the
your
bar
imagination,
is so
it can be,
low.
yeah.
If you can make an inkjet printer shit out anything that looks like a color photo, that would be so cool.
So also, I was gonna say when I said over time it might turn white. I think it's from my experience. It's because if you get copper sulfate, sometimes it looks white if it's old, but it's just that it degrades into
Dusty.
a lighter green.
Is it liquid or powder?
No, it's a solid.
Do you
But
have
it
to
just-
dissolve it in something.
but if
Like
it's-
water.
But the copper oxide,
water.
if you start with, because the copper sulfate's dark blue, but I think when it turns into copper oxide, it looks white in comparison because it's just a light green. But the copper oxide looks like your it's not cyan, it's more turquoise, but it's close enough.
I bet you most of the chemical science in inks has to do with the lifetime of the print head.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
How do you make sure that they don't
UV
clog
resistant.
the print head?
Yeah,
all
and
that
if it does
stuff,
clog, is it like still soluble or something?
Yeah. So then it's like when your printer is like sharding itself with its ink cleaning cycle, it's like trying to like clear that out.
Yeah.
But the less frequently you have to do that, the
It's like
better.
if you don't print for a while, is it going to
Mm.
dry up, kind of thing?
But there's even the other factor, like once you do print, are your prints even going to last?
Yeah,
Yeah. We have none of these problems for a shitty YouTube video.
exactly.
That's the best part about YouTube science is you can explore the ideas without having to do the
Deal with the
mind-numbing
ramifications.
grind.
The
Yeah,
classic is, it is the essential essential thing where I remember speaking to a friend years ago, and he ended up being on a film set, and everyone's like, how was it? And he's like, it looks really good from the camera's direction. He's like, but from any other direction, it's just like, it looks terrible. And like, that's what you need. That's a YouTube thing. The science looks amazing until you stop hitting record, and then nothing matters.
You spend 10 years figuring out which additives to put in your inks to make sure
Yeah.
that they don't
Yeah,
take
you're like,
over time. and
My
clog.
picture has to last exactly how long I'm recording it, which is 1 minute after it comes out of
Exactly.
the printer.
Just keep your actual
Even if-
inkjet printer
yeah.
out of frame that you used to print the photo that you're claiming you did with.
I only need to boil off as much Mountain Dew as it takes to print one piece of paper.
Exactly.
I actually am so ashamed we started with a thing that just was a dye that's industrial.
Could you print like condiments on a hot dog? You know, like ketchup and mustard or something?
Yeah,
Mm.
probably. There's probably particulates in it that would get jammed though. How do you stop that from happening?
Filter it,
Maybe
make the holes bigger.
Mm.
you shove your.
Maybe cheaper printers have bigger holes on the print head.
That's a thing.
It could be. What could you?
The expensive ones have very small holes and very many of them. What do you?
Could
what's so
you-
funny?
No, I'm just thinking. That's the worst way I've ever heard someone describe a
Yeah.
printer is the cheap one's got big holes.
Wait, I have a question. This is just a random idea. It doesn't really do anything. But like, if you printed with not necessarily gunpowder, but like some sort of gunpowder mix, could you print like a cursive message and then light it and it just burns like a wick through all the letters?
I think you can do anything as long as it's small, like ground up fine enough.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wait, what happens when you put gunpowder in? Can you dissolve gunpowder? Is there anything you can like? You can kind of put it in alcohol to make like a slurry. I've seen that before.
You can do it with like nitrocellulose.
We'll kind of dissolve it.
Yeah,
or-
and it's flammable when it dries.
Yeah.
So you could.
That's still kind of the same idea that I said.
You'd have to
yeah.
get one of those cheap printers, one of the big holes.
The big holes.
I was wondering if you could do 3D prints like this. What could you mix into plastic?
Ooh.
So- I was thinking like, you know, could you do a thermite?
Nitrocellulose.
Thermite.
Oh.
I think so. Someone done this? I feel like someone might have done this.
No, I've talked to you about it before.
Hmm.
Oh yeah,
You definitely
nitrocellulose.
could
That
do-
is that a thermoplastic?
I don't think you want to heat it up.
No, yeah,
But
you're
think-
writing a line, right?
But you
Very
can
fine
you
line.
can dissolve it to like a syrup.
Okay. Well, they have like those printers.
Or
that
is it a
print-
thermoplastic? Is it a thermoplastic? Just because it's cellulose, I feel like it's not. But then cellulose acetate is.
Oh my! I hate bulb.
I mean, according to the crappy Google AI, it says it's a thermoplastic.
Oh, that's cursed.
3D printed thermite.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody did
I
it.
think somebody did this.
I have another idea.
Oh, celluloid plastic.
Or-
You mix it with 20% camphor
Yeah.
plasticizer, and I think you can actually do
paste.
it.
hmm.
Maybe like a paste, like a
Oh, it's a
thermite paste.
university thing.
Yeah, it looks like a
Kevin,
like a
if you mix
syringe
it-
extruder.
Oh, it says that. Okay, so here's what you got. I found on this random chemistry this chemical website, you can buy a 55-gallon drum from them. It's
what?
80% nitrocellulose, 20% camphor, and it says it softens significantly at ADC, can be molded and processed at 110 to 125, and self-ignites at 165.
That's what they
You
make
got
ping
40
pong balls from.
Exactly. You got 40 degrees.
Flammable 3D prints
You could definitely do that.
that are more flammable than regular plastic.
Yeah, how are ping pong balls molded?
Some people
then?
spend their entire careers doing the exact opposite of this.
Here's another
Dude,
one.
Kevin,
Dude,
you could print a ping pong ball.
Oh, you could.
I printed the world's shittiest ping pong.
Oh wait, that's funny. You could like take a ping pong ball, chop it up, and then
Grind it up.
say you get like a 12 pack. You grind it up, and then you make one big ping pong ball.
Well, no, the big thing is that they don't make nitrocellulose ping pong balls anymore.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
And people say the new ones don't bounce as good.
You know, the cheap ones, they don't bounce as good, and they're not.
I heard
as
the cheap ones have
The
big
expensive
holes.
ones bounce really good.
The nice ping pong balls have
Yeah.
tiny little holes.
Yeah,
The cheap ones have huge holes. The biggest
they're like
holes.
like a billiard ball. You don't know if you're playing ping pong or pool, man. The size of those holes. Wait, no, I had something else I was gonna say about. Oh yeah, 3D printing. Okay, fluorinated 3D printer filament,
What does that mean?
fluorinated plastic.
Why
Oh
do
my
you
God,
want to?
Nigel?
I don't think you want to heat fluorinated polymers.
And you mix it with aluminum powder.
I don't.
What does all this? What does all this do for you?
It makes a fun YouTube video. I don't know.
Blows your printer up?
If Teflon and magnesium powder.
I don't think you can. A PTFE doesn't melt properly. I don't think.
Well, maybe some other one. I don't know, man.
But why do you want the fluorinated ones?
Because it reacts with metal powder, and then you can mix that in the print, and you can make like it's like a flare. It's like actually thermite, but with plastic instead of more metal.
I think I tried melting Teflon once. Is that what it's saying? You're saying Teflon in it?
Yeah. So like a 3D, you can make like an infrared flare if you mix Teflon and magnesium powder. It's like super, like all the light is in the infrared. Like
why does it have to be
realm.
printed though? Why not just?
I don't know. 3D printer brain, man. Like,
You could just
I could cast it.
Yeah.
But then that's kind of the videos. I'm just like making bombs.
Do you
Whereas
really think the 3D printer makes it better?
Yeah, I think it
You
does.
want to be the guy that
it elevates it a little bit.
There's an article about man builds 3D printer
Well,
that makes.
because
You've heard about 3D printers making guns. Well, this guy made 3D printers making bombs.
I'm telling you, I've talked to you about this video before, and you said the same thing.
Literally, nobody understands that it's like the worst way to make bombs.
No, it's like you could build this. Like if you had a filament that like catches on fire really easily, you could build it into a print to do something. Like say like explosive bolts, right?
Right.
Like
you're printing a bolt.
No, maybe it's like you want a plane that turns into a rocket, so the wings blow off, and then I don't know, man.
Top 10 terrorist tricks and tips.
Yeah. You could do a rocket that has stages and like burns. I don't know. They do that with cardboard and string, but Estes does that with cardboard and string.
I like how it's like you can just accomplish it with the most base fundamentals possible.
You could print something that burns up when you're done with it.
I feel like you could do the infrared flare just as its own thing, and that would be just as cool as like a 3D printed version of it. Like the 3D printer almost adds, like, I don't know even what you would do or anyone would realize that it makes sense.
No, because I think people would just like the idea. It would feel almost more like relatable if it was something like, oh, imagine if I had this as a 3D printer, the stuff I could make. That's what you're trying to get them to think about, like, you know, what they would do with it.
You could, isn't
seems
C4 really soft?
Oh, yeah.
What happens when you warm C4 up? Can you melt C4? Can you like make it rubber?
I mean, it's mixed with a plasticizer, and I think you should be able to. I don't think you need to heat it up. I think it's just naturally if you warm it a bit.
Does it become?
Yeah, dude, for sure.
So you could 3D print C4 into cute shapes.
I wish.
I'm trying to think. I think like just I built like an invisible flare kind of idea is probably a strong enough idea on its own. I don't think the 3D printer aspect of it adds a whole lot. Otherwise, you're entering into it's interesting because it's like a 3D printed bomb, but they don't realize that like all you did was just make a regular bomb and then shove it through a 3D printer.
Yeah, but it's not. Also, you wouldn't be able to like detect it. It would just seem like a normal 3D printed item. But oops, it's actually like just really flammable.
Are you sure you want to make a video on this?
Yeah. I want to spice things up a little bit.
the TSA is getting more. But
wait, no.
I straight up brought a box cutter through TSA twice. I had no idea.
Okay, it's a gun printed out of thermite filament, and when you shoot it, the whole thing catches on fire.
Oh, dude, the evidence removal gun.
Yeah. The prank gun. Where it shoots the bullet backwards and then catches on fire.
I feel like there's something in there, but there's no way that would actually work. What about magnesium? A gun made out of magnesium?
No, it'd be hard to ignite.
Yeah, but a thermite gun would be not strong at all.
I don't know.
I think you could do that.
Yeah.
What's the problem with magnesium? It's really why?
It's I think it conducts heat pretty well. I've tried to ignite a rod of magnesium before.
Yeah,
it's pretty rough.
It has to be like thin.
Is it?
You basically heat the whole item up that you're shooting. So
I mean,
you end up having
structurally though. Like,
magnesium.
It's just light and strong.
So then why? I feel like you could totally.
They used to make like car rims out of it. I think engine.
It's better than
maybe?
aluminum.
Yeah.
Wait, so you could literally. What's the byproduct of magnesium burning? What's left?
Magnesium oxide.
And that just is
like a white dust.
So there's white dust on the ground.
Yeah.
I think that you could. Not on YouTube. I think you could make a gun that disposes of itself. I made like evidence that disposes of itself.
Oh, okay.
I do like so. If you light a ribbon of magnesium, is that enough to ignite a block of magnesium?
No.
Maybe if you got it 3D printed out of magnesium and like left enough voids where it,
Kevin, you shoot it and the heat of it triggers a thermite charge somewhere, which then sets off the gun.
No, well, thermite will set it off, yeah?
The thing that's funny is imagine you made this gun, Kevin, in this hypothetical world. You go to commit a crime. You're in a building, like an apartment. You shoot it, the gun ignites, and you're like, haha, I'm going to dispose of the evidence. You throw it on the ground, it's just going to burn the whole building down.
That's literally half of the point. Yeah. It's the evidence disposal gun.
And
you're like, I also got rid of the entire building.
Okay. Wait, hear me out. This is fucking podcast speedrun demonetization. I think you could make a whole series of everyday carried evidence disposable weapons.
Oh, okay.
You could have a knife that you like do murder with it, and then like when you push on it, it like compresses a button, and then the knife just basically explodes and catches on fire and disappears.
Or you could make it out of like frozen metal, like mercury. So they'll think like, oh, this guy just got a lot of mercury in his veins.
Or you just.
In his knife wound, he has a
shit knife.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like that's a thing? Frozen shit ice knife, shit knife, frozen shit knife. That's awful. That's an awful idea. That's the last thing I want to get stabbed with.
You know what else is an evidence disposal murder weapon? A grenade.
A grenade. That's true.
That actually satisfies everything you've been looking for.
You're like an investigator.
I just want to say one thing. I just want to say one thing. Usually, if you commit a crime, like murder.
Oh God, where's this going?
I'm saying you get caught not because of the weapon you used, because the first question that happens when someone gets murdered is, okay, who wanted them dead? And so it's like, if you have any interest in this person being dead, you'll be a suspect probably, because they're going to look at anyone. So it's like,
just kill people you know nothing about. It's easy.
I'm saying, but then why would you do it? It's just like
I don't know, to prove that your evidence disposal weapon works.
I'm just saying it's kind of like this perfect thing will let you get away with murder. It's like, yeah, you kind of have to not have a motive though. Then you're like, then why would I do it at all?
I mean, serial killers kill people and nobody knows why they do it. It must
you're
be
making
awesome.
your product is entirely for the serial killers.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like we've had this conversation about something
Okay,
else before.
I'm on board now. I want to narrow it down to that.
Just imagine the high you get as you stab your knife into someone. Where do you stab them to kill them?
How it feels to kill people with a hatchet.
Right into
Have you seen that
eye,
meme? And it's like a guy on a bungee jump, like flying. How it feels to kill people with a hatchet and brutally murder people and whatnot.
I've just gotta feel good, otherwise they wouldn't do it, right?
How much time is left on the podcast? What are we at?
How close is mine?
I started so bad.
An hour 25.
It's an hour 25?
It's an hour 25.
I'm peeing.
Oh, okay, go pee. All right, my 60-inch large format printer is $400 and there's an hour left.
You know that's not a good sign.
All right, so igniting. I really think there's something. I don't think you can do this video on YouTube. Self-disposing evidence is fucking funny, right? I like that. I think this is a great idea. How would you light, no matter the shape, a block of magnesium on fire?
I mean, before I answer that, I just want to say one thing. I do think the idea of the self-disposing evidence, the way you market it, though.
Yeah.
You have to market it in the way that all those weapon people market, certain items where you're like, the only thing you can do with this is a crime. But they market it in a way that makes it sound like there's some legit use, but everyone knows that it's just a criminal device.
If you're like an investigator and you're trying to figure out what happened, and all you found is a dead body and a pile of white powder on the ground and a bunch of burn, what would you think happened?
I would be very confused. That's it.
They would. Could you imagine the investigator being like, well, "This looks like magnesium oxide, which means the killer must have fabricated a gun out of magnesium and then lit it on fire."
And then some guy types in on Google magnesium gun, and then your website pops up.
Fuck!
And they go, "You've had 3 customers. We're gonna subpoena those names." It's like, oh no, he's been caught.
I think I really like this because you have a weapon that you can shoot, and once it's empty,
oh my God.
Throw.
Wait, there's another angle to this.
Okay.
You sell a gun or a weapon or weapons that the angle is clearly to get away with murder, but it's like but it's always like you hide that fact a little bit. But the whole point is that by using that murder weapon, it's so entirely obvious the product they used that it actually makes you get tracked down so easily.
There's only one person that would ever do this.
Well, no, it's like there's one seller in the world. You just have to. It's like who bought it, and then you now have a list of all the murder suspects. Like you think you're buying this item to get away with murder, but you're just putting yourself on a list of suspects.
I don't know if they put that much research into single murders. I think they if it's not obvious, they just sort of give up.
I think it depends on, it depends on the circumstances.
You got to make sure it's like a low profile person that no one cares about, like the old people maybe. Old people with no family left, the most vulnerable members of our society.
Why are you doing that?
We're just logically thinking through how you get away with using an obscene self-disposing evidence gun and not get in trouble.
You asked, how do you ignite magnesium?
Maybe you start with animals. You start with like stray animals.
You asked but I'm gonna ask you a question. How do you ignite magnesium? It just conducts heat really well. So the problem is that the larger body or mass of magnesium you have, it's gonna keep conducting that heat. So if you're shooting like a blowtorch at it or a heat source, if you don't get above its ignition temperature, it's going to pull to the rest of the magnesium and then radiate the heat away like a heat sink. So it's like
you need to inject
you need to have like a very to ignite it.
So is you probably there's probably some propagation as well of like how fast can magnesium, like once the magnesium is ignited, if you ignite the corner of a cube, will it keep burning or will it snuff out?
Snuff out.
Like I think you could probably. I thought you could ignite it if you use like an oxyacetylene torch or something. If you just like rip it fast.
But I think
with a normal
like,
blowtorch,
you need
really
like a
hard.
pyramid. You need like an upside down pyramid.
Exactly, a pyramid. That would be the only.
Yeah, exactly. So like every propagation is within the threshold of energy generated from the current magnesium flame to heat a wider, bigger area that needs to burn. So you'd have to have something internally that allows it to capture as much heat as possible.
There's a heat transfer through the whole piece, and then there's like the radiation, like how much heat it loses like to the environment.
You're gonna reach a critical mass at some point where there's enough energy that it's just gonna keep going.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, you need like a proper ramp up because you got to start really small. So if you like started with like, let's say you had like a little lobe on like a little dangler, like a little dangler in the back of your throat of magnesium. So you like light the bulb, you reduce the neck of the bulb so that heat can't transfer out as quickly. Once the bulb is like hot, it burns up the dangler that's attaching it to the rest of the magnesium. And that whole process is like generating heat. And then it kind of starts to spread out. So you start like, you know, the dangler kind of gets wider and wider and wider. So you start like burning like a pretty solid chunk.
I feel like it would have to be a very long and skinny pyramid.
You just do it from front to back or something like that.
Yeah.
So then you basically...
I have a chunk of magnesium from one of those magnesium fire starters.
So what you could do is make a profile in like water jet or can you laser cut it?
Ooh, that would be fun.
Have you tried that?
No.
Have they done that?
I'm sure. I think you could do it.
It's fast and a lot of air, right? So it would put itself out.
Yeah. Maybe not on the thin segments.
You should have a fucking torch coming out the bottom. It's like just sparks. Huh. This is a really easy Google search to see if this is a horrible idea or not.
Once magnesium lights too, God help you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you light like if you have a sheet, like a square panel of magnesium and you light the corner, will it continue burning or will it put itself out?
Put itself out.
It will put itself out.
Yeah.
So I think that laser cutting is probably
depends
fine.
how thick the sheet is though. You know, if it's like a 1/4 inch thick, I don't think it'll put it. I think it will put itself out.
I bet you there's like actually some math you can do with the heat transfer to figure out the appropriate pyramid to like build up enough energy to light like a sizable chunk.
See, I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
Is like you could cut out a bar to like a self-sustaining.
Exactly. Right. So like if you know the thickness, you could, you know, kind of use that to back trace like how much energy you need to go to propagate thicker. And then you literally cut out like that pyramid shape and you light the tip and see if it can continue propagating down the pyramid. And at what point, like how steep can the pyramid be before it snuffs itself out? And then you put that into your knife
and stab somebody with it.
You stab somebody and then it lights itself on fire. And then there's just a big pile of white powder on the ground and the detective can't figure out what the fuck happened. Because they would be batshit insane to accuse someone.
It looks like this guy got stabbed with a lightsaber or something.
He got stabbed with a bunch of white powder.
I think that if you had a knife and you hollowed it out and the outside was magnesium, but the inside was like a thermite that you could definitely
You're like, oh God, can you just shoot me? Just please shoot me. Don't use the thermite.
God, I'll do it myself.
You stab the guy and he's like just suddenly... Yeah, just start. Yeah, that's, I mean, you know, he probably deserved to be stabbed though, right?
What if you stab them and it's not like a fatal stab wound? And then they're just like, oh my God, my arm!
You cauterize it.
Yeah, it cauterizes it. They take it back out and they start stabbing you with a flaming knife.
Maybe there's actually more of a market for a medical version of this. It's like a cauterizing knife. It's a chemical cauterizer.
You've completely pivoted from killing to saving.
I'm not about murder. I'm about making money. And if there's a bigger market in
a true capitalist.
It's like rat poison versus blood thinner.
We got a glow stick. We crack it. And then it basically just like a spatula, like it's really hot.
Oh yeah, it's like those self-heating coffee drinks.
Yeah, except way hotter. And then you just go, tss, 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 and then you cauterize the person that needs cauterizing. I don't know. Where do you cauterize people?
Like their stumps.
Yeah, when they're stumped and they get their leg blown off.
Yeah, like
by,
Civil War.
Yeah, kinda. A Nokia triggered IED.
What?
I'm just saying. I think there's a market. There's a market for everything, even if one person buys it.
Dude, you could sell that to EDC people. Definitely.
Emergency
cauterizing
spatula. Also self-disposing knife.
Yeah. Oh wait, you could make a grill that heats up to cook one burger or something.
Wait, what have you?
You like rip a cord. And
yeah, that was like the what's the? Oh my god, how am I forgetting? The bio guy next to you. Oh my god, the YouTube channel. The hot dog.
Thought Emporium.
Thought Emporium. How did I forget that? The hot dog. Cooking a single serving hot dog. Yeah. You have like a glow stick, but there's 2 spots. You crack 1 for cauterizing, you crack 2 for self-disposing.
Okay.
And if you accidentally crack 2, you're fucked.
What I wanted to do, I don't want to give. I'll give my idea away because I don't know if I'm gonna do it. What I really want to make.
We can give it away. We can switch to Patreon right now. We're at time. You can give it away to Patreon.
Okay, I'll give it away to Patreon.
Right. Yes, let's go. Thank you everyone for listening to this episode of Safe to Heard Podcast. If you would like extra podcasts every single week, we've got those over on Patreon. The link is in the description.
Nerds.
That's right.
And hello, super nerds.
Super nerds. It's all nerds. You can ask us questions. You can get our best ideas from us that we share because we don't know how to keep our mouths shut. What else do you get?
A good time.
A good time.
A good time.
All right.
Or a time.
A time. We'll see you guys over on Patreon.